Thank you for joining us for another episode of Experience, Strength, and Hope podcast. My name is Catherine, and our host Tony will be joining us shortly. Our goal is to bring stories that make you laugh, smile, and even cry, but most of all, give you hope. Please don't forget to support us by subscribing to our YouTube channel and following us on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. Again, I'm Catherine, and I hope you enjoyed today's show.
Thank you for tuning into my podcast. This is me, Antonio Timms, Tony the Mayor. I'm Chicago bred, but Kansas fed, was military led. I've had my ups and I had my downs. I've been through it all, but I made it. I can't complain at this point. That's what we always say. I can't complain. But sometimes we say, I won't complain. What is the difference? Well, to me, sometimes I complain, and I complain through various ways of what's taking place in my life. So I never say that I won't complain. I can't say that, I'm putting my trust in someone else, which is my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, saying that, I really can't complain because I'm still alive and I have Him in my life. But when I say I won't complain, I'm saying that everything is fine to me and nothing is happening, which to me sometimes is the lie, because things are happening. They're happening daily. We deal with a lot of things. I wake up every day and I'm still me. No matter what has taken place the night before, I'm still me. I wake up as Antonio Timms, Chicago bred, been Kansas fed, and was military led. I take the good and I take the bad, but I won't lie to you. Sometimes it's hard dealing with the bad. And how do we deal with the bad? How do we deal with those down times? Because we're not always on the mountaintop. Sometimes we are in the valley, or headed towards the valley, or headed out the valley. So like I said, I won't lie to you. It is hard dealing with issues that are facing you head on, as I have dealt with throughout my life. And as you get older, you focus on those things, or you reminisce. You start to ruminate on how things were and also how things could have been. Sometimes if I did things different, if I wasn't Antonio Timms, would things have been different if I was someone else? It seems especially hard dealing with the bad when it's facing you head on and it's happening within your body and within your mind and within your heart. Because a lot of times people will tell you, hey, you can deal with it. I've been through it. Or it can't be that bad. Or it's going to get better. But sometimes there's days when it seems like it's never going to get better, especially when the bad seems to never end and the good seems to outweigh the bad. A little bit about myself. I love people, and hopefully people love me. Sometimes we say, I don't care about what people say or what people think about me. But at the end of the day, we definitely care about what people think about us. And you may not let others know you don't care while you're laying there in silence. I hope I won the approval of the people. I hope I made the people happy. And that may be sometimes because we're feeling I'm not happy. And when we're not happy, we feel that we're not making others happy. And so you start to think about what makes me happy, what brings me joy, what brings me the things that make me happy. And when I think of happiness I equate to peace. What gives me peace? Is it people? Is it those people that I love so much, or people that I like being around? Have I made myself happy, or am I trying to make myself happy through the people? Like, if I made the people happy, then of course I'm happy. But that is not always the case. And I found out through a lot of trial and error that you're never going to make everyone happy. But it hurts even more when you're not happy or when you don't have peace. And like I said, I've been through some things, which we all have. So, sometimes I use that term, I've been through some things, like I'm the only one going through some things. But it's not that I think that I'm the only one going through things. I want others to recognize or know that I'm going through things. And these things need attention from you. Isn't that crazy? When we say we want attention from others, because we always say, I don't need anybody's attention. I don't need to win the approval of others. But when you think about it, you're looking for that approval for that one reason, that happiness, which I call peace. What is peace to me? Is it my job? Is it my family? Is it my ministry? Is it my missions? Is that peace? I was riding to the VA Center in Topeka, Kansas. I didn't have any music on. I didn't have any podcasts on, no YouTube in the car. It was just silence. I wanted to wallow in my sorrow, but my sorrow had left no no room for pity. So the tears didn't come. The tightness in the heart didn't come. The lump in the throat didn't come because I had left no room for pity. I had filled it all up. And what do I do from here? Usually people erupt and they lose it and they break down. But as I sat in the car riding, looking out the window in silence, looking at the land and the beauty in Kansas, as I call it, especially growing up in a city like Chicago, which is beautiful, but it doesn't have the hills, the rolling hills, the flint hills, the limestone, the wheat fields, the cottonwood trees, mulberry trees, sycamore trees, wild prairie grass. It doesn't have that. So it's easy for me to focus on what others may call nothing because I'm not distracted by the city lights and the things that's happening. So I'm riding in my car and all I could think about was, what is peace to me? You can't have sorrow. You're having this sorrow because what you're really seeking is just a little peace, which I call happiness, or a little happiness, which I call peace. And I begin to ride more and more and think about everything in my life. As I was on my way to appointment to my oncologist for my third round with cancer and my fourth upcoming treatment against cancer. Third time, first time is gone, felt good. Second time, went through radiation, chemical therapy of a hormone shot was my third time. Went through radiation my second time. Third time went through hormone treatment, getting injections in the body. Sent my mind and body and spirit on a roller coaster ride. Had this thrill and it had its horror and it had its joy, but it was a roller coaster ride. So here I was facing that again to get back on that roller coaster, which I said I don't have to get on anymore, but I was faced with getting on again. So that was the situation I was in as I was sitting there riding in silence, thinking, can I just get a peace? No one will ever understand but you that the only time you may have peace is when you sleep. When you're looking forward to just going to sleep every day, because that may give me a little peace. If I don't dream about the sorrows, I'll have peace. Maybe if I just go to sleep, my mind can be at ease. During the appointment in Topeka, I ran into someone that I would never forget. I was in the hospital and I came into the wrong entrance. To the hospital, and I went into the basement where all the storage areas were and the laboratories and maintenance areas were, and there was no one. I said, man, there's nobody down here. Am I in the right area? And I kept trying to use my mind to focus on if I was upstairs, where would I be in this building? I'm just trying to get to this certain clinic, and I go in to use the bathroom, and I turned and came right out. I come out of the bathroom, I ran into this lady, and I walked past her, and then I stopped, and she stopped, and I turned around, and I said, hey, I'm just trying to find the other side of the building. And she said, hold on just a minute, I'll show you. And she began to walk and take me to an elevator, and she began to walk and take me to an elevator. And when we got to the elevator, she said, why don't I just show you where it is? So we went upstairs, went to one floor, and then we started walking to another area. And as we were walking, we were talking, and she says to me, you know, today is my first day at work. I hadn't been working for months, and they just got me doing little things, so I'm just walking around and trying to find things to do. So sure, I don't mind showing you all the way there because I'm just happy to be back at work. She says, I just finished my cancer treatment. I never said anything to her about me having cancer. Didn't even say the clinic I was going to. She walked me around. We got on the elevator and we got off. She said, what's your name? And I told her my name, Antonio. She said, good. Antonio, I remember that. I said, what's your name? She said, it's not important that you know my name, only that I know your name, so I'll know who to pray for. The Bible tells us that beware when we entertain strangers, because some have entertained angels unaware. I don't know who this lady was. I've never seen her before and may not ever see her again. But I was thankful because at that moment, it was something I needed to hear that helped bring me peace. That was just one incident that has taken place that has been helpful in bringing peace to my ears. This time, it has been a few things that have taken place that have been helpful. I'm going to end this just in short by saying we look for happiness and peace in the people we are so close to, but it's a whole lot of other people out there that are just waiting to give us a kind word, a kind gesture that may help grant us just a little bit of happiness and peace. And those people are waiting for us. So in turn, we have to be aware and conscious of what God has put before us so will know that that's happiness under you and not just a stranger. That's happiness through me or through him, which is Christ Jesus. I recently returned from vacation in the Bahamas. Wasn't feeling 100, but I needed that vacation with my family and friends. And I remember what a gentleman told me there. First of all, it was an eye-opening experience. I have been to the Bahamas before, but this time I was looking at the people. My wife and I always said we're going to go people watch or study people, you know. She might be in the store and I said, I'm just going to sit out here and people watch. But as I was there, I noticed the people not having all the things that we think that we need, but they were at peace. They seemed like they were happy, joyful, not just because I was a tourist, but even those who were not in the tourist areas, they seemed peaceful. And I'm not saying every person on the Bahamas Island was, Nassau Island was peaceful. No, that's not what I'm saying. I say that's the message that I received at that time for myself. Met a gentleman that was our driver while we were there, and he was full of wisdom, just about being happy. Not about where you came from, what you have, how much you have, but about being happy with whatever you have, about being happy with whatever you have, and for having life and still having life. People say that a lot of times. Well, I'm just happy because I woke up the next morning, but everybody doesn't feel like that every day. But life is beautiful when you look at it. And what makes it beautiful are the people that God had placed there for us to come in contact with daily, that we may look at and say, yeah, that's just so-and-so. Well, that's just another person. And it may be that person that God has sent that day to bring you peace. So I flipped the table and I said, why am I looking for peace from others? Or why am I looking at what others can give and start getting peace? Why am I looking to get peace out of what another person is there to give, but get peace out of giving to someone else? It feels so much better when you do for others what they can't do for themselves. There's people out there that can't make it to the next day. They may feel that way. People that are not happy, people that don't have this or may not have that. And I'm not talking about immaterial things all the time, but just a word from you, a service for you. Let me give back to you, because I found out when you give or you serve someone else as we should have been taught to do, when you serve others, you're really serving yourself, because it makes you feel so much better because you made someone else way a little easier, a little brighter, and made them feel a little happier because you gave them a word, a piece, a kind gesture, just shook their hand, looked them in the eye, passed by. You're walking and you just say, good afternoon. How you doing today? How's it going? Because you will be surprised on how far, how's it going? Good seeing you. Could go. You need to get to a place that we're start hurting each other and start serving, because that's what we were put on this earth to do, to serve others. I'm Tony the Mayor from Experience, Strength, and Hope podcast. Hopefully I have brought you just a little bit of happiness today, and may you find peace.
Thank you for tuning in to Experience, Strength, and Hope podcast. I'm Tony the Mayor, your host. Please follow, like, subscribe. You can find me on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and YouTube. Make sure you subscribe and hit that like button. Let me know that you were there. You can reach me also at bigdog0862@me.com. Have a blessed day. Keep it real and keep it strong and keep it 100.